A very good afternoon to one and all present here. I, Simran Singh, a pre-final year student, welcome you all to this webinar on the importance of soft skills in the corporate world, organized by Dr. Jyoti Chaudhary Ma'am, Head of Department of Computer Engineering. I would like to introduce our speakers for today. It is a matter of pleasure that they are our prestigious.
At first, we have Miss Surbhi Batra. She passed from our college in 2015 and started her career with Infosys via campus placement. Her training was once in a lifetime opportunity to learn a lot, while having interest in fintech financial technologies led her to IHS market. She then joined Royal Bank of Scotland as a business analyst, then moved to a US global market index company like our Nifty S&P Global as a product specialist. We welcome you, ma'am. Now we
Thank you.
have Miss Pratima Singh. She too is a 2015 batch graduate. She started her professional life with one of India's leading tech firms, Infosys. This was a kickstart to her career to capture the essence of technologies like Python, Go, Java, and Salesforce. When she joined Deloitte, she worked on a network automation project and image recognition and classification. She contributed to AI chatbots too. This was developed for the great pharmaceutical giant Pfizer to assist their users with various queries. She focused on the most relevant technologies and built POCs for ideas. Finally, it came to switching, and she uncovered computer technologies applications in banking too. Very heartiest welcome to you too, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
Now, I hand over everything to Miss Surbhi.
Thank you. It's always a pleasure to talk to the juniors and my respected teachers. Thank you for having me here. I would like to share my screen to share a little presentation that I created. I hope that's okay, and I hope I have the rights. Let me try. Or I can send the presentation and somebody can share that for me if that works. Because I don't see a share screen option here.
Just wait for a second, Surbhi.
Okay, okay, ma'am. Yeah, you have to give me the rights to share the screen. Yeah.
Just a second.
Okay, okay.
I'm looking for your name.
Yeah.
Now you can share, Surbhi.
Yes, ma'am. I got the rights. Thank you.
Okay.
So let me know if you are able to see my screen.
Yep, we can see.
Okay. So
Yes.
today we are going to discuss the importance of soft skills, especially in corporate environment. Although soft skills are really important because it's a life skill and it's not just for corporate, but because we are all technical professionals here, so our focus is on the corporate life, and hence we would discuss how they enhance our productivity and help us progress better in what we are doing today or what we wish to do in future. So there are two kinds of skills. There are hard skills and then there are soft skills. When we talk about hard skills, there's something that can be quantified. For example, you can measure that, like if you're proficient in a foreign language, so you can quantify it on the basis of am I a native level speaker, or am I just able to communicate the basics, or what am I, like I can quantify that. Then there's a degree or certificate. For example, you're doing BTech, so you know that if you got 75%, you're 75% there, that okay, I know 75% of this stuff and I have a degree that defines that yes, I'm a technical person. Then there's machine operation or computer programming, which you can quantify that okay, you have these skills, and on the basis of these skills you get a job. But what we tend to forget is that there are another kinds of skills that are also seen and observed, that do you have the soft skills or not. So they are something that's a part of your life, like how you behave, how you communicate, what's your level of flexibility, how would you act as a, if you're given a chance, how would you be a leader, what's the teamwork capability in you, and how do you manage your time. Because we basically work in teams, so we have to be a kind of person who is good at teamwork, who is good at communicating, because you have to express what you're trying to do, explain it to the clients, explain it to your team, that what you're trying to do. So it's very important to have those soft skills as well. It also has other parts also, like, are you empathetic person or not, are you soft spoken or not. But the top 10 skills that we're going to cover today are around these that you see on your screen. So one is time management, then communication, adaptability, problem solving, teamwork, creativity, leadership, interpersonal skills, work ethic, and attention to detail. So I'll start with time management. It's a really important life skill, as I've mentioned, and it'll come in handy in every aspect of your life, be it studies, just usual life routine, or corporate. For example, you're studying right now, so you have exams coming over. You prioritize your work basis that, because कि अब मेरे exams आ रहे हैं, so I have to be more focused on the studies, and I have to get rid of watching television for some time. So you prioritize that way. Then how do you prioritize? The priorities in your life. I'm in corporate, my first priority is my work. And then my second priority is entertainment or mental balance or peace. So I prioritize on that basis, right? But how do I do that? I do that with self discipline, because sometimes you know what your priorities are, but then you are not able to control yourself. कि नहीं थोड़ी देर और टीवी देख लेते हैं, थोड़ी देर और ये कर लेते हैं. And then there you see that, okay, my priorities, I know my priorities, but then I am kind of shifting from them because I lack self discipline. So that is very important, that you have that kind of discipline that prevents you from you know imbalancing your priorities that you have in your mind. Then you need to have a plan or schedule. जैसे आप, if you prepare for your exams, how do you do? There are 4 sections in your syllabus, 4 sections को you divide, कि okay, I'll cover this in day 1, and then I'll cover that part in day 2. You kind of try to schedule it, right? So that is very important, because you have stipulated amount of time in which you have to get the things done, and you have to prioritize self discipline, and set your goal in that way. When it comes to corporate, because it's a teamwork, so we kind of delegate our work. For example, if I'm not able to complete the so and so tasks, I would request my team members, or if I'm a manager, I would delegate those works to my further team, that okay, you do this, you do that. And that is how collectively we would achieve that goal that we have for 15 days, for a month, or whatever kind of time pattern or time frame we're following. Then there's another very important thing, that means we should learn to say no. It is very difficult. I am also bad at that because of people pleasing skills. But then you need to learn to say no, because you should be knowing when you are up to the brim. For example, if somebody is putting a lot of work on you and you have 2 days to complete it, you won't be able to do it, but you still cannot say no because you feel obligated. कि बोला है तो यार करना पड़ेगा. That's their obligation that you feel, and then you say yes, and then you're not able to do it, and then you feel pressured. Ki I said yes, now I have to complete all this in 2 days, and what you do is you mess up everything else because of that, because आप कहीं भी focus नहीं रख पाए. Your focus shifted because you wanted to do all at once.
I
So
think we should
yeah.
keep this saying no skill as a separate skill.
So okay, so learning to say no is also a part where you manage your time. Then you use your time smartly, free time smartly, because there's a lot to learn in this world. Doesn't matter what you're trying to learn, but इतना कुछ है इस दुनिया में, and if you're spending your free time wisely trying to learn about anything, कुछ ना कुछ, it will increase your knowledge. Knowledge बढ़ने से there will be wisdom. Wisdom से life gets better. अगर और कुछ नहीं होता, तो if you have that wisdom, there's two different things, right? Knowledge and wisdom. So if you gain knowledge, and if you gain experiences, you get wisdom, and then it makes your life easier that way. So that is how you manage your time. And then, as a part of effective communication, there's something else that comes into play, which is body language. So as a part of body language, active listening is also an important part, because अगर सामने वाले को सुनोगे नहीं कि वो कहना क्या चाह रहा है, you won't be able to communicate because you won't know where that person is at that point of time. For example, if I'm trying to explain to you what is communication, या मैं आपको सीधा points बताने लग जाऊंगी कि ये करके you can improve your communication, but you do not know what is communication. So how would you be at the same page, right? So I have to be a good listener to be a good communicator, to express what I'm trying to say. So I need to understand where the other person is if I want to communicate better. Then we need to keep an open mind कि हम खुले दिमाग से we are trying to listen to what other people are saying, what other people are saying, and then we are open to their ideas also. कि if somebody has a better suggestion, I'm open to listening to it with a logical reason behind it. Then we have to be open to feedbacks, because sometimes people take feedbacks as an offense, which is not the right way. You have to keep your ego aside, and if somebody is giving you a nice constructive feedback, you should take it properly and try to learn from it, because it's for your own betterment, of course. And then confidence is really important, because you know you're saying the right thing, and if you know it in your heart, confidence will come automatically. And if you're confident enough, people will believe you more. And then there's another important part, which is non-verbal communication. And non-verbal communication is like, what is your body language, how you keep your shoulders, how you place your hands, how you place your feet, what's your eye movement, what are your eyebrows doing while you're speaking or while you're interacting, what kind of handshake you're giving to a person. So that kind of thing is also a part of it. And when I talk about non-verbal communication, I've been reading this book, which is really great. It's titled as What Everybody is Saying. So this book is written by an FBI agent, and he talks about various things he has used on perpetrators, that how they react when lying. So वो बंदा बहुत साल से FBI में है, and he's catching criminals and all, and they're very good at lying, we all know. तो वो उन लोगों को पता कैसे चलाता है कि वो झूठ बोल रहे हैं, वो उनकी बॉडी लैंग्वेज स्टडी करता है इतनी बारीकी से कि हाउ दे आर मूविंग देयर हैंड्स, व्हाट इफ दे आर शेकिंग देयर लेग. तो वो पूरी उस बॉडी मूवमेंट्स को नोटिस करके he tries to figure out that whether the person is lying or not, or if he was present at the crime scene or not at all. So this is a really good book that helps you understand body language of people and figure out and read people. So I recommend everybody to read this. Then our next skill is adaptability, and there are 8 ways that you can improve your adaptability. So it is also again a very important life skill, because if you're able to adapt to a change, you're good. And if you're not, you'll be stuck wherever you were like a few years ago. अगर हमने कोविड से अडेप्ट नहीं किया होता तो what would have we would have lost our mental balance, and we know life is very unpredictable. So we have to be ready. ऐसा तो कोई नहीं होता कि किसी कुछ इम्पैक्ट ही ना पड़े, चेंज आया, बहुत बड़ा चेंज आया, एंड यू आर नॉट एट ऑल इम्पैक्टेड बाय इट. But then you need to keep that in mind, that the future is uncertain and anything can happen at any point in time. So you need to be ready for that. Ki life will not always go in a straight line that you expect it to be. So that is what helps you be more adaptive, that you're ready that change can come. Okay. Then there's you keep an open mind ki theek hai, because see, agar flat earthers 100 years ago wouldn't have agreed कि earth is round, तो जिसने बोला कि earth is round उसको फांसी नहीं चढ़ाना पड़ता, because people were so close minded कि earth तो flat ही है, वो round नहीं हो सकती, and they wouldn't believe him. तो मतलब you have to keep an open mind, because there are endless possibilities, कुछ भी हो सकता है, and you have to get through your beliefs कि हमारे कोई set beliefs नहीं है ऐसे. I'm not saying to compromise with your inner values, your core values, but I'm saying that be ready कि there are some mind boggling changes that can come up. So that would help you adapt to change quickly. Then you need to force yourself to take calculated risks. I wouldn't say that you jump off a cliff and take that risk, but you have to have calculated risks in your life, and you don't be in your comfort zone all the time. So that helps you again adapt. Then you need to learn to compromise to certain things. Ki, okay, you see the positives and you see the negatives, and then you balance them out, that okay, the positives are weighing more, and I can compromise to this thing, and if they're not, then okay, I shouldn't be compromising. So there's that balance that you need to maintain, that helps you adapt to things. Then you need to add variety to your routine. This is something that will help you to adapt. For example, I'm eating उपमा इन ब्रेकफास्ट डेली, तो मुझे कुछ चेंज चाहिए, तो मैं अपने रूटीन में आई ट्राई पराठा वन डे इन द ब्रेकफास्ट. So that's something that's different from my routine, that will help me adapt to subtle change. Because when you you look for a huge change, you start with the little things. So you can start with making subtle shifts to your routine and see how well you adapt to them and what's your nature around that, and then build on it. Then you need to change your thought process. Again, it's kind of intermingled with uncertainty of future, that you need to accept what's life is throwing at you, rather than being in your own mind and not paying attention to what's happening around you. You're just in your own mind and you don't know what's happening around you. Then it's very hazardous for your overall life growth. So you need to change your thought process that way. Ki, okay, whatever life throws at me, I'm ready to take it on. I have that kind of confidence. Then you need to learn to be flexible. Again, that helps you be more adaptable. कि ठीक है, अगर ऐसा होता है तो भी I'm okay with it, ऐसा नहीं होता है then also I'm okay with it. These are easier said than done, but you can always try focusing on these things and get better at it. एक दिन में तो नहीं आएगा ये सब, but that's why we are all here, right? So we can understand first of all that we what we want to do to improve our soft skills. This is not a one day process, it's a gradual process. And your college students, तो अगर आप अभी से start करोगे, you will get there in a few years. Maybe जहाँ मुझे आने में अभी 7 years of experience लगे, if I share that experience with you guys and you get that, you get that information. दूसरे की गलतियों से सीखना is what I would say, कि you get better at it earlier than we did. And then embrace learning. I talked about it earlier also, and right now learning is really important. Keep upskilling yourself, keep learning anything, something new. It's very fulfilling. It really, it's very, it gives you a good perspective at life. Then our next skill, and the last probably that I'll cover, is then I'll hand over to Pratima, of course, is problem solving. So you you face a problem. For example, अपने example से बताती हूँ, that there's a production bug कि client के end पर कुछ तो problem आ गई है. So the first reaction would be, let's say they're not able to log in. तो कोई application है, client log in ही नहीं कर पा रहा है. Let's say you're not able to open WhatsApp. तो जो पीछे डेवलपर्स और पूरी टीम बैठी है, they'll be like कि तो सब कुछ ही गड़बड़ हो गया, राइट? सो द फर्स्ट रिएक्शन शुड बी वुड बी पैनिक कि क्यों नहीं चल रहा, क्यों नहीं चल रहा. But then what you do is, okay, 5 minutes, give yourself 5 minutes to panic. It's fine. We're all humans. We are allowed to do that. But then what you do is you shift your focus. Ki, okay, only one client has reported this. So maybe it's not something that's happening across all over the world. किसी एक इंसान को दिक्कत है, तो हो सकता है they are using some version that's not updated. So आप दिमाग का अपना focus shift करते हो, you come out of that panic zone. That's when your brain starts to function properly, because in panic you'll start doing things that you are not supposed to. So you focus you shift your focus, and then you say ki, okay, maybe the version is not proper, we can ask them to upgrade. Then you start thinking of alternatives कि अच्छा अभी नहीं चल रहा है, what can we do to help them get there. तब तक कुछ करते हैं ऐसा कि उनका चल जाए, and then we'll find out a solution later on, so that there's nobody waiting on us and we are able to help them properly. Then you evaluate those best solutions कि आपने मान लो कुछ 4 चीजें सोची कि अच्छा या तो हम उनका ऐप अपग्रेड करवाते हैं, या उनके लिए नए क्रेडेंशियल्स बनवाते हैं, या मे बी वो पासवर्ड भूल गए हैं तो उनको पासवर्ड रीसेट करने बोलते हैं कि ऐसा कुछ हो गया है, या उनको एक टेम्पररी पासवर्ड देते हैं फ्रॉम विच दे कैन लॉग इन और समथिंग. सो देन यू असेस दैट इफेक्टिवनेस कि आप इम्प्लीमेंट करने से पहले यू सी दैट द थिंग दैट यू आर ट्राइंग टू डू, उसमें क्या चीज है. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, इफ आई एम ट्राइंग टू डू समथिंग जस्ट फॉर दिस वन पर्टिकुलर क्लाइंट, इट्स नॉट राइट, क्योंकि बहुत एफर्ट लगेगा. सिर्फ एक बंदे के लिए मैं पूरा नया कोड नहीं लिख पाऊंगी, बिकॉज इट विल वेस्ट एवरीबडीज टाइम. सो आई ट्राई टू सी कि इफेक्टिव कौन सा तरीका सबसे ज्यादा है. तो सबसे ज्यादा इफेक्टिव और इजी मेरे लिए क्या है कि मैं बोलूँ एक बार आप ऐप अपग्रेड करके देखो, मे बी दैट्स द प्रॉब्लम, यू आर नॉट एबल टू लॉग इन. So that is how you reach to conclusions. And if you keep an open mind, if you're not panicking, if you're trying to solve those problems. So problem solving is also a skill, to be in that state of mind where you are able to assess what you're trying to help others with. And sorry, this one was my last one. Teamwork. It is also, again, I mentioned it earlier also, that this is important, because abhi bhi right now also you can work in a team. कुछ टॉपिक पढ़ो, अपने फ्रेंड्स को पढ़ाओ, एंड देन कुछ टॉपिक फ्रेंड्स तैयार करें, वो पढ़ाएं. वी यूज टू डू द सेम इन आवर बीटेक. सो जब हम पढ़ते थे, वी वुड प्रिपेयर टॉपिक्स एंड टीच ईच अदर. उससे क्या होता है दैट यू लर्न बेटर, इट गेट्स इम्प्रिंटेड इन योर माइंड बेटर, बिकॉज you read something, you tell it to somebody else, they ask questions, you think about it. So So, sharing knowledge is always a plus. It's never a negative. Whatever you share, because you'll always get more, or you'll remember better. अगर सामने वाले ने कुछ नया नहीं भी बताया तो you'll remember better because you know that you taught that thing. So communicating, participating, sharing things, then helping others is also really fulfilling. अगर आप एक्सपेक्ट ना भी करो कि कोई बदले में हेल्प करेगा, इवन इफ यू हेल्प अदर्स, यू फील रियली गुड एट योर हार्ट. एंड it's not always about money or success or getting good grades and all. Sometimes you need to feel good, right? So when you help others, you feel good. So that's a good quality you can inculcate, that you have that kind of nature where you help others, and then it gets paid back in one way or the other, even if you don't expect that. And respect is really important for your teammates, because if you're being respectful to others, you can expect that back from them. And if they're not being respectful, it's totally their loss. Because अब अगर आप किसी अच्छे से बोलते हो, नाइसली बोलते हो, it's totally free of cost, कुछ पैसा नहीं लग रहा है, right? If you're helping others, it's not costing you anything. It just makes you a better person. So if you're respecting someone, and even if they're not respecting you back, you're not that shallow that you would mind that. But then you know what kind of person they are, and eventually everybody finds that out. It doesn't get hidden for, and they'll be lost in the long run. So this is something that goes in the long haul, that in a teamwork, when you respect each other, when you participate, when you share, when you listen, when you discuss, when you question, and then when you persuade, because you're confident that whatever I'm saying is right, so you try to persuade ki nahi, ye tarika is better and we can do it this way. So you have to have those confidence enough in yourself that जो भी आप बोल रहे हो, you can persuade the other person to follow that, and then you show them the benefits कि आप जो कुछ बोल रहे हो, this is beneficial for you only. कि client को कुछ feature चाहिए तो आप उनको वैसे दिखाओगे कि अभी आपके लिए यही better है, फिर आगे हम इसको improve करेंगे. So you have to have those persuasive skills in yourself कि हाँ, जो आप बोल रहे हो, आप दूसरों को persuade भी कर सकते हो और communicate भी कर सकते हो in a respectful manner. So basically, these are the life skills that we're talking about here today. And I hope I did not take more than stipulated time. And I'll hand it over to Pratima for discussing creativity and other topics that we have today.
Sure.
Over
Thank
to
you,
you. Yeah,
Survi.
yeah.
I think it was a great presentation by you. I think you
Thank
will
you.
only move the slide, right?
Yeah, I
So,
can do that. Yeah.
yeah. So creativity in current scenario, I think it's a most demanding and most important part of skill which techie or any person who is doing or who is competing in the market. So currently everybody knows everything, but you need to be out of the box sometimes. So because everybody know everything, we cannot everybody cannot work on everything. But since it's a competing market, everybody is having everything. Just we can take an example of any business. So such take just a chips business. So everybody is creating that chips, but something which is out of the box, which will bring some quality, some different quality, different than others, which is going on, that will be accepted by the market. So I think creativity is one of the most important tech skill which we need to have it today in our in the soft skill which we consider. So few of the important pointers which we think is important to develop or inculcate creativity among us is the curiosity. So curiosity is something which, like, something is given to us, and we need to curiosize, like what can be done which is different from what is existing, or which is different from what has been done already. So these are the things which brings some extra quality in the in you. So for this, and open mindedness, like, we have everything in there, but if we miss something, so at that point of we'll be lacking behind somebody. So these things are there which brings some quality which is needed. So open-mindedness and imagination is something which will bring us out of the box. It is imagination, it is one of the key skill which brings us the quality which is required to be a part of the crowd. And problem solving, as Surbi already said, that in order to bring this creativity, we will be there in at the point of time where we can see their other problems. So in order to bring that creativity enhance that creativity, we need to solve that problem away, and then we can bring that thing out of our skills. So I think creativity is one of the most important thing. And let's go ahead. Yeah. Interpersonal skills. So in this professional life mostly, or any kind of life, social life, interpersonal skill is one of the thing which is very important. How we communicate with people, how we are able to explain ourselves, how we are able to get others by listening them, by being very empathetic to them, and having some emotional intelligence in order to understand them. So it is very important to, in order to interact and make ourselves understand to the other people. So interpersonal skill is one of the things which we even as a students, like we are in college, we need to have it in order to communicate our knowledge better to the one who is hiring us, or in the kind of in the project or in the companies where we are trying to do our tasks. Work ethics in current environment is something which we think is good for us only. So in order to show ourselves or portray ourselves in a good scenario, or in a good way, we need to have these work ethics. So I have mentioned like 10 work ethic traits which are there. So appearance, if we won't look good up at appearance, if we won't show ourselves at a good way, it it will not be good for it won't be able we won't be able to get or show ourselves that we are something good to others. So there'll be like point where people will see you and you will not be able to they'll not take you so seriously if you are not presenting yourself as good to, or taking a person who is to be taken as serious. So appearance, attendance, attitude, character, communication, which is one of the most important thing, which personifies you or gives you a adds something to your character. So, and cooperation, almost all the skills we have already studied, we already study, but we need to have these skills in order to show ourselves at the workplace, that our work is good, how we organize our work, how our organizational skill is something which makes our life easier at work. So if we have organized the work properly, it's not messy, then it is very easy to do the task, and it takes very less time to do our task, and even manageable. So I think work ethics is completely depends upon you and how you present yourself and how you make your life easy with that with accessing or having that skills. Let's go ahead, Surbi. So it is the last, and I think it's the most important when when we go into our projects, or when we are into we are working on our project and we get our requirement details. So if when we get the requirements and we don't like give attention to the smaller things, we miss the smaller points which may be critical and which can cause some very critical issues later point of time, and which can take your time or effort, everything can go in vain. So like, say when you are doing one project and it's just one point or one thing which we have missed, which was considered initially, we didn't even consider, and which we missed it, and like we have developed the project and we deployed it, but at the point when some at that particular issue got triggered and it failed entire project. So it is that you have to, it's not that requirements will be given already, it's that you have to see the requirement and you have to look into the all the areas around where it can fail and what all the scenarios it can be covered. So it's not like everybody can give you everything, it's you have to add some extra values to it, you have to add some extra attention to it to get to know the every corner of it.
That's
So
yeah.
so if we give the attention to the smaller details even from in starting only, it's we can say that we before starting anything we analyze it properly. So that is one of the most important thing when you actually work in the production or production environment or projects. So it saves much of your time and makes your code or makes your task free of errors, and it makes your life easy also. I think it was last, right, Subi?
Yes, yes.
And if you guys have any question, I think I I ran so fast, and still, if you have